Like so many people these days are just depressed and withdrawn and would rather spend their time on Instagram than go out and spend time with friends. And like I've said before, there is a necessity for it, especially today. But I felt like it wasn't good for my mental health at the time.
What's up? This is Desi Flores, and I'm here with Jordan, the Beverly Hills Ninja Wright, who is on the LFA 80 card, the first card of 2020, actually the first event on UFC Fight Pass of the entire decade, and he will be taking on Gabriel Checo. How are you feeling? You're actually in fight week right now. How are you feeling? How is your weight cut going?
I feel fantastic. The weight's coming off just as planned. Couldn't feel better, to be honest. I feel like the stars are aligning and everything's in my favor.
Nice. Now, I saw a video of you where you were talking about that you don't like the kind of the bougie way. Those weren't your words. Those are my words. Of the way that some fighters feel like they need a nutritionist, they need this, they need that, and that you like to do everything on your own. And so are you still like that? Because that's kind of an older video, or has that changed?
No, that's definitely an older video. I feel like there, even at the time, I saw a necessity for it, but training at where I was training, you sort of had to be a little more self-reliant, and I guess I just became a little too self-reliant, and that kind of shifted my mentality towards thinking like this is the way it has to be for me and for everyone else. But no, as I've matured, as I've gone through the sport more, I've sort of conceded that there definitely is no such thing as a self-made man. You take what you can get. You get as many coaches as you without too many cooks in the kitchen can in order to get the best out of yourself.
Okay, so how does it work now? What does a typical fight camp look like for you in this close in?
So I did half my camp in California and half my camp in Albuquerque because the fight's going to be in Albuquerque. You got to train in high altitude, and so for the first half, I was doing kickboxing with Anthony Hardonk, who's my sensei, and he's the greatest striking coach in the world. And I was doing jiu-jitsu at a place called Marumbi Jiu-Jitsu under Fabio Leopoldo, who, again, one of the best jiu-jitsu guys ever. He's just such a beast and an amazing coach. Another best jiu-jitsu coach in the world. And I was doing strength conditioning with my strength conditioning coach, Raymond Diaz. And together we all just sort of, I'd go here for this, there for that, there for this, stay on my diet, make sure I was putting the right stuff in my body. And then when I came to Albuquerque, I finished my camp over at Jackson's Acoma under Nick Urso, and he pretty much ran a lot of the rest of everything. It was more because he's very as he's a great kickboxer, great wrestler, great jiu-jitsu, but a lot of the stuff that he does is very MMA geared as to what we're going to do in the cage. So he just pretty much took the reins for the last part of it. And pads under a guy named John Justice, who was my kickboxing coach back when I lived in Albuquerque. So yeah, just technique, pads, grappling, sparring, and strength and conditioning. All the basic stuff, except I take drilling more seriously these days. I came up drilling a lot, especially in the kickboxing, but a lot of fighters fall into that trap of just conditioning and sparring all the time. But more importantly, drilling has been the biggest part of my camp in my life really now. And drilling and technique.
And was that the drilling, is that from you and your own experience, or is that because of going over to Albuquerque and a different way of doing things?
It was a different way of doing things. So when I came up kickboxing, because I've been fighting for quite a long time now. A lot of people don't know. I started off as an amateur kickboxer when I was 16, and a lot of the training that I had done was just a lot of drills, like the Dutch style drills, where it's a lot of footwork and combos back and forth and things like that. When I moved to Albuquerque, I was kind of like blown away that they didn't do a lot of that stuff. A lot of the things that they did was just, again, hitting pads and sparring. And there's a reason why you see so many great strikers from Europe. Like the Dutch way is a really good way, and Sensei Hardonk has really brought me back to that, and it's been great.
Interesting. So you used to train in Albuquerque a while back, I think a couple years ago. And then you went to California, and now that you're back in Albuquerque, getting ready, just like you said, getting acclimated for the last few weeks before your fight, Have they been very welcoming to you? Have you seen the gym dynamics change there from the time you were gone? How smooth was the transition going from those coaches to these coaches? How did that whole experience go?
So the thing is, Nick Urso, he runs Jackson's Acoma, and Jackson Wink was the gym that I was training at.
Okay.
Jackson's Acoma was the original Jackson's gym before everyone moved to the big gym in downtown Albuquerque. And, when I came back down here, I talked to Wink, I talked to Greg. Wink had a good understanding. He knew that I was going to be doing most of my training over there. There's sort of a split between the gyms. But for me, I don't like to burn bridges. Nick is a guy that I came up fighting with, and I'm super loyal to him, and he has my best interests at heart. And many of the people who I came up training with are over there. And Jackson Wink has new guys coming in and out every single day. So rather than go over there and spar with people who don't know me, who might, want to be like, oh, let's go hard, let's see what this kid's made of, I'd much rather be smarter and train with the people who I know, under a coach who I know, than do that. And especially, like I said, not burning a bridge. I still have a great relationship with everyone over at JW. I've been there like 3 times since I've been back. So it's it's nice. It's nice. They've accepted me with open arms. Yes, to answer your question.
All right. So who would be some of the training partners that people out there may be familiar with that you've had either in California or here or where you're at right now in Albuquerque that have been helping you this camp?
So my main training partners, aside from my coaches, Anthony and Fabio, in kickboxing, Marcus Gottlieb is a really good kickboxer. He's a guy that has really, a great sparring partner. And what's great is a lot of the guys who are training with now are closer to my weight. Back in the older days, it was hard to find people who were closer to my weight. Lucas Drews is an amateur kickboxer. He's had like 20 fights now, I think, and he's about to go pro. He's an amazing, again, another guy who's my weight class. Great kickboxer. Kevin Crane over at my jiu-jitsu school. He's one of the top no-gi guys in the world. 7-1 amateur MMA. He's been a great training partner. Really, really just amazing. Opened my eyes to new jiu-jitsu things. Professor John Hernandez is a jiu-jitsu coach of mine / training partner. And over here, I'm training a lot with Lando Venata and Tyler Milner, Nick, Jesse Morehouse, a few people over at Jackson's Acoma. So it's been cool. It's been cool. A lot of really good bodies to work with.
That's awesome. So now that you're in your fight week, what does your diet look like this week? Do you rely on dehydrating a lot for your diet? I know that before I've seen that you didn't. I don't know how that's changed as it's been a few years and you've gotten a little bit older, or do you lose your weight slowly as you go along so you don't really have to dehydrate that much?
Slowly as I go along. That's the best way to do it for sure. Like I stopped doing the dehydration stuff like when I was a teenager. That's just such a stupid way to do it, and it's a way that people still do it these days. But on these shows that we're fighting on, we're not a part of USADA. We're not getting drug tested, so we're not, going through the, people are still IVing. I mean, people in the UFC are still IVing. We know that. The people are still, sinking through the cracks, if you will. But even though I'm not getting tested, I still have that I feel like I was cheating, even if I did go against right. that. So no, just a lot of protein, a lot of fat, a lot of water, and just gradually losing it so I don't have to kill myself on weigh-in day, and so I can fight with a lot of energy. So
what was your last meal?
My last meal. So I just had some green tea, but that's not really a meal. To me, it's a meal because you get what you can on weigh-in week.
Right.
But my last meal was just chicken breast, and before that it was eggs and avocado. And that pretty much has been the story of fight week. Eggs, avocado, chicken breast, green tea, and a lot of water.
Yeah. You eat little bits throughout the day?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Yeah. And if you're out of fight camp, how do you eat? What would a normal meal be for you? So
I still am pretty disciplined in the health aspect. Like, I'm not going around eating cake and cookies and stuff. I allow myself a couple, at least one day out of the week, sometimes more, to indulge a little bit. But typically I eat a lot of chicken teriyaki, rice, beef, just pretty basic stuff, vegetables. I'm pretty omnivorous, I guess. I don't really stick to one thing. It's just a lot of everything. Okay. But I make sure the portions are good. I make sure I'm healthy. I'm not trying to. Trying to stuff my face all the time.
That's why you're like you are right now. That's why I was asking, because being fight week and you don't have to talk to me right now and you choose to kind of shows that you're feeling good right now. Usually that comes from kind of staying good with the diet as you go along. Most of the time.
Yeah.
Not always true.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So you're the Beverly Hills Ninja. You're from Beverly Hills originally, is that correct?
Kind of. So I was born in Texas. I lived in, I moved to California when I was about 7, and I bounced between like Malibu and the Palisades. My parents kind of moved quite a bit in SoCal. And then before I moved to Albuquerque, my parents had moved to Beverly Hills. So they moved to Beverly Hills, and then I spent my last school year there, and then like immediately went to Albuquerque after that. So I'm not really like a Beverly Hills kid, but when you move somewhere, like my mom had called, like I had called Ricky, the manager at Jackson's at the time, and I was just like, hey, blah, 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 I want to come and check out the gym. And then my mom, being the momager that she is, I love her to death, she calls, she's like, hey, my son, he's just a teenager. He's just a little boy. I just want to let you know he's just, we're from Beverly Hills, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, as soon as she said that, everyone was like, oh, who's this new kid from Beverly Hills? Oh, it's Beverly Hills, Beverly Hills. And I'm like, I don't even really feel like a Beverly Hills kid, but whatever. I can't change their minds at this point, so it is what it is.
Well, you don't picture it. When you think of Beverly Hills, you think of tennis or golf or lacrosse, and you're getting a call. It's like, we live in Beverly Hills. It is unique. So was it you who decided that you wanted to get in martial arts? Was it your parents that introduced you to it?
No, it was me. I've been doing martial arts since, I did, I think Kempo when I was like 4, but a lot of my youth was gymnastics. And then around the time I was 9, I just fell in love with Dragon Ball Z, and I was like, I have to do karate. I have to do martial arts. So from 9 and the rest of my life, I just felt like it was something that I had to do. Anytime I would watch a movie, even if it was like not a martial arts movie, but there was a scene where a guy was like, wow, I'd be like, oh man, I want to do that. That seems cool, So yeah, I felt like I was born to be a martial artist. It wasn't something that I was pushed into. Like originally my parents didn't even want me to fight, but I was just like, come on, I want to give it a try. And then after my first smoker, I just fell in love with it. So,
Well, talking about you were just talking about your mom. How is she?
She's great. She's
great.
Good. Yeah,
your mom, let me tell you. So I've gone to so many martial arts events in my life. And when you're a ring girl, a lot of people come up to you and talk to you. It's easier. Yeah. You're easy to approach. People want to take pictures with you, things like that. I have never actually met a mom, or they never told me. They've never talked to me. And the first thing when I think of you is I think of your mom. Because your mom, I met her, I was in the bathroom because my hair was frizzy. You were in Costa Mesa, LFA 30. And I'm struggling. I'm from Arizona. My hair is frizzy. I'm trying to get it, contained. And she's like, I am so happy. And she just starts talking to me about you and how excited she was. And I don't know if I'm incorrect about this. Had she seen you fight before? Or is it just she hadn't seen you fight as a pro? Or...
No. She comes to pretty much every one of my fights.
I don't know what was different about that fight. Maybe because it was going to be televised. There was something about that fight, and I remember that she was so excited, and she told me all about it in the bathroom. And so by the time I watched you fight, I felt like I knew you.
Yeah. It's so funny because she told me about that, and she was all like, I think she had said something like, even in my prime, as young as I've ever been, I've never looked as good as you. So yeah, she thought you were so beautiful.
Oh my gosh, she's so nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's great.
Okay, love her. See, now I like your mom even more.
Oh.
Yeah, she's a total sweetheart. So I can see how supportive she is of you. And you've mentioned her a lot of times in this interview. So is she going to be out there, and is she going to get to go to this fight?
I'm not sure. Like a lot of my family, it just like timing wise, they kind of are like here and there, like with the holidays just passed and stuff. So a lot of people have been traveling already. So I wouldn't hold it against them if they didn't want to do like one more big like trip over to Albuquerque. But I mean, they can watch it on Fight Pass. They know exactly how to watch it if they need to. So I'm not sure. Probably not at this point, but she'll be watching.
I'm sure she really wanted to go though, knowing her, because I know her now. So now for people that haven't gotten to see you fight before, I would say from watching you in person, you're explosive, you're wild, but I also know that you're a very technical fighter. So what would you tell them would be interesting about your fight to watch and both technically and just in an entertainment wise. I feel like you have a little
I
of
mean,
both.
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty well rounded. I have a kickboxing base, and everyone loves to watch a good kickboxer. But I'm also pretty slick with the submissions. People always try to take me down, thinking like, oh, I don't want to kickbox with this guy, and then I end up putting him in a choke. So, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty good at finding the finish, and I'm patient. I'm calm. I don't rush out there, Like one thing that I love about a style bender, people that rush the finish suck, and I believe that too. You don't want to rush the finish. You kind of want to let it come to you. So I just kind of wait and strike when I feel it's necessary.
And you do, as you were saying, finish a lot of fights. And if you look at it, it seems like it's half by submission, half by KO punches, or you even have a spinning kick win. I didn't get to see that one, but I saw it on your record. But it sounds
No,
fun.
they actually recorded that wrong. That was either a head kick or just an accumulation of kicks. I don't know why they
They
said
put a spinning kick on
someone
there.
needs to fix that because that fight did not end that way.
I love how you're so honest about it.
Yeah,
Look at you correcting it because it sounds so cool. I'm like, what is this?
no, that's the thing. People brought that up to me, and I'm like, no, that actually isn't how that fight ended. But sometimes these people don't get it right on the shows. So
Right. No wonder I didn't see that then. Okay, so you win by submission. You win by kicks in general, by striking. What would you say? How do you see this fight going?
um, I don't know. I see me being victorious. That's how I see it going. I
Okay.
think Checo's a tough guy, and he seems to grow from a lot of his fights. I mean, he has some tendencies that remain the same, but at the same time, he's a martial artist as well, and he has a lot of experience. But I've seen a fair amount of his fights to where he doesn't necessarily do the same thing each time. So I'm just gonna go with the flow and do my thing.
Okay. I'm gonna wrap it up soon here. I know you probably want to go. You're in a cut right now, but you have mentioned that you don't really like being on social media,
Yeah.
and that you felt if you were a huge star, then you would want to provide something for your fan base. But right now, you don't want to fake it till you make it, which I can kind of already see that in your personality. Anything that you feel is incorrect, you want to correct right away, and that just seems like the kind of person that you are. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second here.
Go for it.
Has it ever, occurred to you that sometimes people like watching your journey? That it is fun, that true martial arts fans like to watch you as you progress, whether you win, whether you lose, what the obstacles that you have, injuries that people have, that they like to see that along the way, because that's when somebody makes it to the big picture, those are the real fans that are really watching you and really, and it motivates people sometimes. So, what would you say? You're a pro 9-0. Why would you think that nobody would want to watch your journey?
It's not that I think that no one would want to watch my journey. It's just such a weird thing because growing up in LA, I love my town. I consider it my hometown. I've been so surrounded by like that fake facade of what people put online, and whether they make it or don't make it, it was such a turnoff growing up, especially like I was a MySpace kid. So I had my fair share of like social media addiction as a young person, like a really young person, and seeing the way that I've grown out of it and not get so into it, I feel like it's been good for my health because so much of it is just like, oh, what do I have to post today? What do I have to do this today? Blah, blah, blah. Do I need to – it feels like a full-time job at times. And, I mean, it's no wonder you see so many people like to – sorry to be a downer, but like so many people these days are just depressed and withdrawn and would rather spend their time on Instagram than go out and spend time with friends. And like I've said before, there is a necessity for it, especially today. But I felt like it wasn't good for my mental health at the time. I just felt like it was taking too much time, and I spent so much time focusing on what I thought others would think of me. And like, I mean, I'm only 28 years old. There's plenty of footage of me from, a youngin' to now. I still have a whole bunch of youngin' pictures and videos from when I was younger doing martial arts. So it's not like they're going to miss out. Like that footage is always going to be there. I just happen to have it. And I think it's good for my health right now to not worry about it so much because I'd much rather like focus on me than what people think of me or see me on the internet as.
I think that makes a lot of sense. It really does. Everything, I can't even argue with that. Well, thank you for coming on. I know you only have a few more days and you get to be in the cage for LFA 80 in Albuquerque, New Mexico, in front of a lot of friends that you still have there, I'm sure, and on UFC Fight Pass where your mom gets to watch it and all the rest of the people out there that want to go ahead and watch that fight. Thank you so much, and I wish you the best of luck this Friday.
Thanks so much, Desi. I appreciate it.